Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Craig Candage.
And this week we did a deli slash butcher in the Nations. It's called Bare Bones Butchery. So we went there. It was yesterday. So normally what we do is when we do these reviews, we'll go and we'll go to a restaurant, we'll sit down, we'll eat, we'll come right back, and then we try and do the review while it's still fresh in our mind. Wanted to do this one a little bit different because I know initially we were just going to do lunch.
Right.
But when I heard it was a butcher, I've actually been looking for a butcher. So I was like, all right, let's get some items and we'll go back, cook them that night, and then we'll do a full review. So we're not just doing a lunch review; it's also a little bit of a review on the butcher part as well.
Absolutely. So this is in a pretty cool spot. It's in the Nations, which is northwest neighborhood in Nashville, and it's recently, within the past like 2 to 3 years, growing big time. What it was a lot of small bungalow kind of cottage type houses.
Right.
They're knocking them down and they're bringing in what we call tall skinnies, and they're putting like 2 on a lot.
Yep.
And they're selling for like anywhere from between $6 and $1 million.
Nice.
For like 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, I noticed a little bit of a mix as I was walking in. You could see kind of the old, the new, and everything. The new ones look great.
Oh, I mean, it's a gorgeous neighborhood. It's very cool looking at the different architecture of the houses that went in and the different styles. It's very modern.
Right.
Walkability in that neighborhood's amazing because there's so many restaurants and coffee shops and different things like that no matter where you are there, and it spans a pretty good area too.
Yeah.
Basically from like 21st to 51st.
Wow.
So
that's a pretty big area.
There's a lot of blocks.
For sure.
And some are definitely safer than others.
Yep.
Areas there. I mean, it's definitely going through that process now where a lot of the money is moving in to the neighborhood. So
fixing things up.
Exactly.
And stuff, so nice. The neighborhood looked cool and everything. So I was pretty excited to try this place out. So you walk in, I guess we'll kind of describe the place. It's not big. It's not a very big,
no, not at all,
store, at all. So you walk in and you've got the butcher part of it is right there in front of you. When we got in, so they do have like those garage doors that they can kind of, open up and make everything feel a little bit more open and things like that.
It felt like they gained 2,000 square feet when they opened those garage doors,
yeah,
too.
Exactly. It was nice. So once they did that, they've got outdoor seating and stuff for people to come and eat lunch. So you walk in, you've got the butcher part, and then connected to it, basically, it's just a really small bar area. I think there was 5 or 6 stools total.
Yeah, probably 6 stools. They had like 5 or 6 beers on tap, a couple local ones, and a few, like a Coors Banquet.
Right.
That's the one I like, Coors Banquet. That's why I noticed it. Yeah.
Nice. So you have that. That's the basic setup, and then the thing that I thought was really cool too is like off to the side of the of like the butcher ordering area is they've got like the glass wall, and you can watch them like cut everything that you order.
That was a highlight for me. So when I didn't realize that they were doing that. And Chris is like, "Did you check this out?" And I go over and look immediately, and the guy's just sitting there. Literally, I ordered a couple things, and he was cutting up what I ordered from a huge piece.
Right.
And I was just like, "That you can't get much fresher than that."
Nope, you sure can't. So speaking of orders, right? So we walked in, and what we did is we ordered our food that we were gonna eat there for lunch. So we ordered that, we got the food, sat down, ate, and then afterwards, I mean, we sat right next to like the glass case of where the butchery is, so we were just eyeballing that thing the entire time of what we were going to order. So as far as the menu goes, okay, you walk in, so the kitchen is only open, I think it's 11 to 3 every day, and they're closed on Sundays. Okay. So 6 days a week they're open, and they've got those sandwiches fresh made, and I think they make their own bread too. I'm almost positive it's theirs because
they've got it because
super fresh.
Yeah, they also have like a store side where they have some already prepped food, like in refrigerators or just sitting on shelves. And the bread that they had definitely looked super fresh, and it tasted very fresh.
Right, and then when you went back and you can buy the bread like you were saying, and there's no signage on it, right? So on the packaging, all it said was Monday. It was baked on Monday. So yes, it's got to be there.
Honestly, besides the sandwiches, I didn't see a price on anything.
No.
So it was kind of
No.
like when you get to the register.
Well, it was a little nerve-wracking, and we'll talk about that a little bit
exactly.
later. But yeah, so we got in, looked at the menu, and just to give you really quick idea of what is on the menu. So it looks like there's 7 sandwiches that they have basically every day, and then they also have specials too. So like things that I think that they'll put on and take off and stuff like that. But these seem to be like they're almost everyday staples. So they've got things like, the cheeseburger, meatball sub, cubano, pastrami melt, hot ham, famous bologna, and then a couple other special ones. What do they call it? The BBBLT. Let's see, Italian
bare bones
beef,
butcher.
probably. Yeah. So they got a bunch of different sandwiches. Probably in total like about 11 that they've got about every day.
Yeah.
Sides. So they had fried potatoes, braised greens, and a beef chili. So I know you. So when you ordered, you got the chili.
I did get the chili.
And what'd you go with for the sandwich?
I went with the meatball. Chris had ordered first. I was gonna go with the hot ham.
Yeah, so I asked the guy, I was like, and I was between the meatball. I was meatball, hot ham.
Yeah.
Those look like my 2 favorites on the menu. I was even thinking about the bologna too, but I asked him which one he liked better, which one he thought was better, and he went hot ham. So I was like, all right, let's
Bologna's
do
a
it.
different ball game down here.
Yeah,
they're
that's
thick.
what
They're
I
like
heard.
they're like 3/4 of an inch thick, if not thicker.
I'm gonna have to try it next time.
Yeah.
So I went hot ham. You went meatball and the beef chili. Now,
After that, we decided that we each wanted to try the other one, so we split them in half.
Yeah, so we
each
cut
got
'em
a
in half.
taste of each. Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
So that worked out perfect. Now, what was your favorite part about the drinks?
So one of the things I love is that they sell. I'm gonna call it Mexican Coke, but it's not.
No,
it
that's
it
what
does
it
say
is.
from Mexico, but essentially their soda that they have there is it's all with sugarcane rather than high fructose corn
All the
syrup.
Processed sugar and stuff like
It's
that.
real sugar opposed to fake sugar. And I'm sure most of you have had these out there, and it tastes so much better.
Yeah, and it's the cool glass bottles.
The
You need
glass
the
bottle, yeah.
opener and stuff like that. So it's a cool touch. I
It is.
actually liked it a lot. Those Cokes are so much better. Not a big soda drinker, but you toss a nice bottled fresh Coke at me and
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
tastes
So,
different out of glass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. So, all right. So tell me, how was the meatball?
So I thought being Italian, I'm real picky about my meatballs in general. These meatballs were phenomenal.
Yep.
They had I've actually never had a meatball like this. They had a completely different seasoning than anything I've ever tried. They definitely had a lot in there, and they were selling meatballs at the actual butcher part too, so you could see what it is. And the meatball was great. The bread was amazing.
The bread was great,
on
yeah.
that meatball. It's the stuff that they sell in there, and it's toasted slightly, so it's very soft bread, but just has that crisp on the top of it.
Yeah, it was perfect. And then, so my favorite thing about the meatball, the meatballs themselves, bread, all of that stuff was great. But again, like I'm a big sauce guy.
Right.
Loved the sauce.
Well,
it was a pomodoro sauce.
Exactly, which is different. You never get that in a meatball sandwich.
That's a little bit different.
One of the things I loved about it too is that they had the cheese on it. They melted it down to where it hardened. It gets that kind of goes down, gets flat, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
like
it
just
was.
the way they did it. Not too much sauce. Where everyone's had a meatball sandwich where it's swimming,
Right.
And by the end of the
Which
sandwich,
I like.
I do too.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I thought this was perfect for
I did
the
too.
sauce. And I do. I love it when there's a ton of sauce on meatball subs, but this one didn't need it. It had everything else on it was perfect. So,
100%.
yeah, it was great. It was a fantastic, fresh meatball sub. I have no problems with it at all. So,
Same. Yeah, I thought it was great.
all right, so I'm gonna do my sandwich, and then we have we're gonna surprise each other with the chili.
We usually
which
don't
we
tell each
know.
other what we think of what we're eating, about the rating, or if we like it, don't like it, or what we found wrong with it, or what we loved about it. So when we're doing this, it's a surprise to each other as well what the other person thought.
Yeah, we kind of had to go over what the sandwiches were yesterday because what else
We
were
split
gonna
them
talk
and-
about?
yeah.
They were fantastic. So
Yeah.
so we did talk about the sandwiches when we had these, but we're like, all right, let's leave the chili, as a surprise. So, so the hot ham, it's a house ham, white cheddar, fig spread, herb mayo, and the bun. We do have pictures of that. I think we have pictures of the meatball. We have a bunch of pictures of the whole thing. So, and that we're gonna put up on the YouTube video. So you'll get a really good idea. And I mean, honestly, I was looking at their website too, and it looks like the hot ham is the picture on the website.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like what we got.
It did look just like it.
It does. Yeah. So if you're like, if you go to their website and you're looking at the pictures, I mean, what you see on the website is actually what you're going to get. It's outstanding, and they make it fresh right there, which is amazing too, you know, so that you can match those pictures on the website, like, and making them fresh like that. That's
Absolutely.
a good job.
And this one was in same bread as the meatball, but it was a bulky roll.
Right.
But the same bread though.
Yes. Yeah, it was the same like recipe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just shaped different. So one was a roll and one was the bulky roll. So,
Right.
All right, chili.
Do you want to rate that ham?
I mean, I'm
Or
gonna
not rate it, but talk about it as far as like what you thought about it.
I mean, I thought it was great.
I did too.
Yeah, I everything that I had there was great. I mean,
fig spread
the perfect,
really
the spread,
made that.
Having the herb mayo. I mean, all of that, everything in together. It was all perfect. It really was. And again, like the bread like pushes sandwiches so far too. So like you could have like all of those toppings that we had in both of those sandwiches, but you toss it in like a brutal roll, sub roll, and bread and
It
stuff,
ruins
and you're
the
just
whole
like,
sandwich.
oh, this was terrible.
Yeah.
But this wasn't. I mean, everything about this place is fresh, you know. So and that's amazing.
And they do not skimp on what the filling for the sandwich. Like that's one thing. We've been to some other places, and you know, too much bread, not enough filling. This was a fat deli sandwich.
This had the perfect amount of everything. So now, how we were talking about sauce in the sub, right? I'm not I like mayo and things like that, but on sandwiches, like I don't want it like plastered.
I'd rather have
over
it dry than overdone.
Yeah, I can't eat dry sandwiches, but at the same time, like I don't want mayo like falling out of the sides of my sandwiches either. You know, I think that's gross, but I want enough on there to taste it, you know? So, and this had, again, it was the perfect amount of everything.
For sure.
So, yeah. All right. Chili time. What'd you think?
All right. So, we got a chili. We split that, just so we could each have a taste of it and, you know, be able to review it. So I thought the chili was good. Had a lot of meat in it. They topped it with cheese and fresh red onions. My issue with the chili was it was very bland. It almost didn't have a flavor to it. As far as the amount of meat in it, the consistency, things like that, it was good, but it just didn't have really a flavor. I mean, is that what you took from it too?
You used the exact word that I was going to use. It was bland.
But yeah, very bland.
So the meat, great. I mean, the amount of meat and all the stuff that they put inside was great. Like, I like it when there's more substance to it as opposed to a sauce. It was almost like a chili soup.
That's exactly what it was.
You know?
There was no spice whatsoever in it.
Yeah, it was like a Hamburg soup.
And it was a little more brown than your typical chili, like that darker red, maroonish color that you would normally get. It was definitely brown. So they left a lot of things out that would give it that seasoning and flavor.
So I guess a couple of things with that, right, is like, yeah, I mean, they're a deli. They're a butcher. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not expecting them to come up with some fantastic chili recipe, okay?
Right.
That's fine. You know, they're known for meat, you know, so then they had a ton of the meat in there and everything, and the meat itself was good. But I mean, there's certain things, like I like a little bit of a thicker chili sauce.
Same.
This was very, very soupy.
Yep.
So, so there's that again, and you can almost get past that too if you had like some good seasoning and some good flavor to it, and it didn't have either. It didn't have consistency, and it didn't have the flavor.
Right.
So
that was a disappointment for me.
Yeah.
Just I love chili.
Yes.
And so for, you know, when I took that first bite, I wanted more.
Yeah.
Like more of flavor, more thicker, just a little bit. Like it didn't satisfy me as a chili lover.
Exactly. I had my one bite and I was like, yep, I'm good. I got this. You can finish it off. So, I wanted more because the sandwiches were so good.
Right.
Like, I wanted to love the chili.
Well, and that could have been why it was a little bit more of a disappointment, because the sandwiches were so good, and then you eat that, and the sandwiches have a ton of flavor to them, like a ton of flavor.
Yep.
And then you eat that, and you're just like, I put something in my mouth, but I couldn't taste anything.
Yeah. So no, it was that was a little bit of a letdown for sure.
Absolutely.
So I mean, good to know, because I mean, I'm glad I tried it because I didn't even see it up on the menu. And when we ordered, I didn't get any sides at all. And I was like, oh, the chili. I was like, I'm going to have to get that next time. And now I won't. I won't. But I'll still get those sandwiches.
Oh, I would get.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm dying to try what else they have, actually.
Yeah.
Just because those were so good.
Yeah, I definitely next time I'll get the bologna. So it's definitely bologna sandwich for me next.
Good luck with that.
I got to try it. So, all right. So then we finished up. Everything was good except for the chili. We had our Coke, so drinks were good. And then we decided to hit the butcher.
Yep.
So, I mean, so the funny part was, right? They had these like handmade signs that were hanging up right around the butcher part of it, and it said, if you spend $100 or more, you get a free T-shirt. And when I first saw it, I was like you got to spend, like, how much do you really have to buy to spend $100? And then not only that, but it's like, how many people are actually walking in here spending?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, it's gonna be hard to get to 100. I mean, I've been to a million butcher shops, and they're not. No one's ever cheap. Right. But I was like, how much am I actually gonna order to get to 100?
And then I start, like, as I'm scanning the whole thing, like, all right, what am I gonna order from here? You notice there's no prices on anything.
On anything.
That's usually a big red flag.
Yeah.
So that's like going to like the coast, and you go to a really nice seafood place, and you want those king crab legs, and it's just like market.
You don't realize they're $80 a leg.
Yeah. It's market. All right, I know I'm spending $100 a person here. So
yep.
So what I ordered, I got the bacon. I got two cuts of filet. I went 2 10-ounce cuts of filet and 2 about 1-inch thick cuts of New York strip. So my plan was order that, take it home. I'd cook the filet right away that night, grill it, and try it out. And then in the morning, cook up the bacon. So that's what I did, saving the New Yorks. So those I'll probably have either tonight or tomorrow.
Perfect.
But only thing I'll say is, so 2 pounds of bacon, 2 10-ounce fillets, and 2 1-inch cuts of New York, and I easily got a T-shirt.
Yes.
So
yeah,
easily.
You did.
I got 1.5 T-shirts. So, so the kids will be pumped about the free T-shirt, but since they only gave you a small or a medium, and I'm definitely neither.
I think that's
of
why
those,
they had that special going. They were probably just trying to get rid of them.
So, so what did you order? And then, because I don't think you ate. Oh, you did eat some of it, right?
I
You
did.
ate
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
So
Okay.
I got 2 New York strips. That I watched him cut off a giant piece. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked them out this morning. They're still super fresh too, like as if he had just cut them. So we're having those tonight.
Nice.
I got gabagal or capicola, however you like to say it, and it was incredibly fresh. It's like a hot Italian ham.
Yep.
And it was super fresh. I got a goat cheddar cheese.
Sounds
and
so good.
I love goat
I've never
cheese.
tried
I
it.
love cheddar. For any of you cheese connoisseurs out there, cheddar is not actually a cheese. It's not in the cheese category. It's made differently than any other cheese.
Nice. Did not know
Which
that.
is why probably they can make a goat cheddar. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
It didn't have a ton of goat flavor. Didn't have a lot of cheddar flavor. It was almost a mixture between the two.
Okay.
But it was a very creamy cheddar.
But it was a good mix.
It was sweet, really good
So, like,
mix.
didn't take too much away from either one.
Picture like a really good cheese for like a salad.
Right.
Or something like that.
Okay.
It was really good. And I got some fresh prosciutto, which was really good too. It wasn't salty. Like, sometimes they over salt it.
Right.
It was really good.
Good. Nice.
Yeah.
So I got, like I said, the bacon, the filet, and the New York. So last night, brought it home, cooked up the filet, 2 10-ounce fillets. They were outstanding. So very, very good. Taste was great. Texture perfect. Everything was fantastic. I have no complaints at all about the fillets. We got the nice thick cut bacon for breakfast this morning, and it passed the kid test. So
Passed the Craig test too.
Yeah. Yep. So and I'm sure it's gonna pass everybody's test. I actually I gave some to one of my neighbors as well. So like I like bacon. I'm not like a huge bacon fan, but I'll eat it. And so obviously if I don't like it that much, I don't cook it a lot. So
Right.
I wanted to give it to somebody that actually does it quite a bit. So I passed some along to my neighbor. So I'm waiting on the review from him. We'll see what he has to say. But I mean, anything that I like and the kids like, I mean, that works for me. So
Absolutely.
even the kids like the bacon. So
That bacon was really good.
it was.
It was thick.
Nice thick cut bacon. Yeah, it was great. The taste on it was fantastic. So they, as they were slicing it down, you start getting through the cut, and the first half of it was very, very meaty. It was nice thick meaty cuts of bacon, and then as it got down to the end, then you had the fattier pieces,
Right.
which, I mean, everybody kind of likes a little something different. So it was a good mixture.
You can talk to 10 different people and they like their bacon 10 different ways.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm more of like the meaty side of the bacon as opposed to the fatty side. So I definitely had those.
That piece you gave me today was absolutely perfect for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the way it was cooked, how long it was cooked, just everything. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was really good. So the fillets were great. The bacon was great. So yeah,
The
all of your
butcher
stuff.
shop there literally has anything that you could think of, though. I didn't see any of
They
the
had some sausage,
turkeys and things
hot
like
dogs.
that. They have homemade sausage and they have all,
Yep.
andouille.
The
They had,
meatballs.
I mean, they had everything.
Yep. And a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not like a huge display case or anything. But like I heard him saying to somebody else, is like, what do you want? We probably have it out back. So the one thing to note about this place that I was reading up and also heard them in the shop as well is that it's all local. So they get all of their meats. I think it's within 60 miles is what they say. So all the meat is fresh. It comes in within 60 miles, which is nice. All locally raised, so that's a good thing. But yeah, everything was fantastic there.
Yeah, I loved it. If that was in my neighborhood, I'd be there at least 3-4 times a week.
Well, I was saying too, like like I said, when I was talking to my neighbor, I was like, I've been looking for a butcher and I haven't found one around here yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, if this place was great, and this is before I tried anything too, so I was just talking to him saying, if this place is really good, which it is, we might start doing like a once every week or once every 2 week run out there to go and grab.
Why not grab a
meats.
few things? Yeah.
For sure. I mean, the way that it stands right now, I mean, I plan on going back. I probably would do like probably every other week. So, I mean, from here, it's about with no traffic, it's about 30 minutes. So,
And the meat's so fresh that it'll stay for a few days, no problem.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So I figure I'll probably end up doing that. I'm definitely going to go back and try out a couple more things for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how do you want to review this? Do you want to do the all in all as a shop, or do you want to do the lunch and then the butcher side, or what do you think?
I'd just do a total.
Okay.
Do overall.
You go first.
All right, I get to go first this week. All right, so I was thinking this is going to be one of my higher ones again. We've hit up some pretty good places lately.
Yeah.
Where I feel like my ratings keep going up. But
And this is one that's not on the tourist list or anything like that. It's
No.
over in the Nations. It's kind of tucked into a neighborhood.
Yep.
It's really big for if you know anyone that lives in the Nations or Sylvan Park, that area, they talk about it like it's the greatest place on earth, and it's pretty good.
it's pretty good. I wish we had a place like
But
that around
outside of
here,
there,
yeah.
you don't really hear much about it, and I'm glad we made the trip over.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it was great. So I'll say overall, it was gonna be pretty high. I'm gonna drop it to 7 3/4.
Okay.
And that's because of the chili.
Okay.
I just feel like when you have sandwiches that are that good, you have the meats that are that good. If you're gonna put something like chili on the menu, it's got to be more than what it is. It was a hamburger soup. That's how I feel about it. And that dropped it down almost a full point for me.
Okay.
To put something like that on the menu and not it was very bland. So, and it's got to have more taste. So it gets just below 8. I was gonna go about 8.5, but yeah, I'll say just below 8.
I like that. I'm gonna go with an 8.3.
Okay.
The reason I would have gone an 8.5 had it not been for the chili.
Yep.
I'd like, and like we always talk about, for you to get into the 9s, it's got to be
It's got to be amazing.
unbelievable. Yeah.
You gotta have
no
absolutely
faults
nothing.
whatsoever.
Yes.
It is street parking over there. Chris, I parked right next to it. Chris parked up the road a little bit. That was one thing. If you can't just, that's all. I always drop down a little bit for that anyway. Street parking, there's a lot around here like that.
Isn't there a lot out back? I think there's a small lot out back too. But it's small.
There was a lot there, but also what you have is apartments on top of this.
Okay.
And so that's a lot of their parking is back in there. So I don't even know if it's available for the shop itself.
Yeah, I didn't look. I was kind of planning on parking in the street anyway, so I didn't check it out.
You got like 3 floors of apartments above it, and then you got the bottom is restaurants and some other retail stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to give it an 8.3, like I said. The sandwiches, I wouldn't have changed a thing on either of them.
No.
They were amazing.
Yeah. Honestly,
one of the hits I'm giving to is price. And the fact that they didn't have prices. I like going in knowing what I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't have them listed.
So
I probably would have bought 3 or 4 more things had they had any prices out.
To be fair, I think that the reason that they don't have prices is because it's all locally raised stuff, and with the market changing, they're a smaller place, and I feel as though that the prices are going to have to fluctuate.
I'm sure their meat is all
often.
Market prices.
Yeah.
Whatever they're getting it at.
I think it's just going to have to fluctuate a little bit too rapidly for them to keep prices up. So
probably.
That's one thing I wouldn't take away personally. I wouldn't take anything away from them not having it. It's just like I said, it's like you go to a seafood restaurant, and you expect them to not have the prices listed on like the bigger stuff, on your lobsters or your crab and things like that. So that's kind of how I went into looking at it. So I'm not going to detract anything personally from that, but it is kind of annoying, you know, just not knowing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't detract. But anything else?
No, I mean, if you're in the Nations visiting or just live here and have never been there, it's worth a try. It's on 51st North. There's actually a bunch of other stuff on that road too. If you go to the top of it, there's a Frothy Monkey, Rockin' Dough Pizza. There's a bunch of places on there. Walkability over there is great. Actually, if you go up the road about a mile to the left, it's actually the prison where they did Green Mile.
Sweet.
Is up there. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Out.
Yeah, I did a drive by there a few times.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, great spot, and definitely check it out.
Yeah, if you're in the area, check it out. If you're a butcher person, you know, you're looking for something different, I say absolutely it's worth the drive. You know, maybe it's not what you want, but I think it's definitely a place worth driving to go and check out and try at least one time. And then, like I said, I have no problem doing like the 30-minute drive to get back out there to maybe every week or two to go and grab some stuff. So the meat quality is
worth that drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. And I wouldn't knock the prices too much. The prices, I feel like they are what they are, you know?
Yeah.
So
true.
That's it for me, but I definitely recommend it highly. Go and check it out. 11 to 3 is the kitchen. So it's only like lunchtime hours. So very limited hours for the kitchen part, but, they're open. Their butcher hours are a lot more extensive than that, and they're open 6 days a week. So absolutely go and check them out. It was great all around.
Very good.
All right, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Have a good week. See you next week.
Download our episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast. I'm at The Nashville Realtor, and Craig is at Real Estate Rockstar.